I love to travel, and I love watching YouTube channels about travel, about different types of travel to see where people like to go, what they like to do. But I've noticed something about all the people that I watch and all the people that I talk to that like to travel. With just a few exceptions, I can put most people that like to travel and have done it pretty consistently into about 4 categories. Actually 5 if you count the ultra rich that can travel pretty much anytime they want to, but that's not most of us. So most of us can go into about 4 categories. The first one is the travel industry people. They get to travel for their business. Maybe they have a YouTube channel, Instagram, whatever, that provides them revenue. They do content and they can post about all kinds of things, take pictures, have followings, and gain money off that continues their ability to travel. So that's the first one. Look, I would love to be one of those people. I would love to have a channel that's going to grow and that can actually afford me incoming money that I could use to then continue to travel. Then you have the people that are retired and they have worked their whole lives in whatever position that they had, and now they're able to travel into their retirement. And some of the people have even moved abroad to live full-time in retirement in other countries. I'm not there yet. I'm definitely not financially able to retire at my age, and I'm not up to retirement age to be able to have any kind of ability to do that. So as much as I would love to not have to work and travel, that is just not me. But then you have the third category. Those are the people that are more like digital nomads, and there are countries out there that are now giving digital nomad visas to certain people that can travel while working. And I'm talking about the people that are traveling while working in non-travel industries, but they work remote. Their jobs allow them to maybe work off a VPN or whatever they have to do, or maybe they're even self-employed in whatever business that they have, and they're able to travel, live in different places, either full-time or move around to different countries, but they don't really come home much. They go out, they do, and whenever they come home, they may stay with family or friends, but they don't maintain a residence and live that kind of lifestyle. Now, kudos to them for being able to do that. I maintain a home and I have responsibilities with my family that I want to make sure that I go home. Plus, I like my roots. I like being able to go home to a place that is my space, that has my things. I'm not ready to give up everything and just move around. Although I know that a lot of people dream about doing that, very few people actually do it. I follow a channel on YouTube, The Retirement Travelers, and that's exactly what they did. They sold their house, cars, everything, and now they literally just travel all over, and they have a great, great channel. I'll put a link in the description below in case anybody actually sees this and would like to follow them, because they're really good and they give a lot of good tips. But I'm also not there, so I can't do what they do. I can't just live abroad and just not have to worry about having a home to go to. So digital nomad for me, even with working, it would not fit the bill. Then you have just the regular vacationer that we kind of all grew up with. You know, you go on vacation maybe once or twice a year if you're lucky as a family to go on a vacation, and you go to a place, you stay there for a week, maybe more, maybe less, and then you go home and then you dream about your next vacation next year. I didn't do that so much as a child. We didn't travel that much for vacation, but whenever we did take trips, they were always very special and I enjoyed them a lot. So once I graduated high school and got into the workforce, it took me 10 years to go on a legit vacation. And it was my first time ever leaving the country. We went to Aruba for a vacation and it was absolutely fabulous and I really, really enjoyed that. But I figured out that I'm not a vacationer in that sense either, because even whenever I travel, I don't want to just go to a resort and stay on the beach at an all-inclusive the whole time I'm there and not explore any of the country, not meet any of the people, not support the local people through my purchases of food and souvenirs or clothing or whatever it is. And it's just not something I really want to do. So even though that may be great for some people, they go on vacation, they want to go to the beach, they want to get a really good tan, sometimes way too much because they burn, and then they want to just chill. And for me, I do like chilling, but I want to see the people. I want to see the local places. I want to see where they actually live, and I want to give my money to those smaller places, the little mom and pops, to eat at or to shop at or whatever, and not just give it to the big resorts and the big companies that get plenty of business from those people that travel just once or twice a year. So for me, just being a regular traveler, a regular vacationer in the more traditional sense, just wasn't quite for me. So that's pretty much the basics of how people travel. You've got the ultra rich, the travelers for influencer type stuff. You've got the digital nomads, you've got the retirement people, and then you've got the vacationers. And I'm none of those people. I don't want to be those people. No offense to those people. But I want to experience living in different places. Even though I can't live there, doesn't mean that whenever I go there, I can't have that experience. Now, smaller rentals of homes or rooms will give you a little bit better of a local vibe whenever your place is, rather than going to big resorts. But again, that still isn't what I'm looking for because I have to work. Now, I am fortunate that I get to work from home, and I've been doing it now for over 20 years, where other people have just started doing that kind of thing since the pandemic, or maybe a few years before that if they were lucky enough and their employer let them start working from home. I've been working remotely for a very long time, but whenever I started traveling a lot, about 3 times a year around 2006, I could not take my work with me. The places that we went did not have Wi-Fi, or the Wi-Fi that they had was just a really small little signal. It wasn't much to work with. You were barely able to check some email or do some basic stuff, and you generally had to do it from the lobby of the resort, so you couldn't even do it in your room. You didn't have Wi-Fi all the way up to the rooms. And cruise ships, the first time I was on a cruise ship in 2007, that was not going to be a situation that I could work from either. However, as times have changed and technology has changed, we all are able to have pretty decent Wi-Fi in a lot of places, including cruise ships, including a lot of popular destinations, and even some of the more rural areas that I would like to travel to. That way I get more of a local community and local vibe experience whenever I travel. So how could I possibly merge my love of travel and my desire to see other cultures and meet people around the world with my necessity of working? That was something that I really wanted to think about, and I wanted to do it in a way that didn't change the fact that I have a home to go to that I have to maintain and things I need to do back in the States. So I decided that I was going to start traveling more using what I call workcations. Now, I've seen some other people use the word, but it's not quite the same way as I use it. Just because you're off doing whatever in your ability to travel in your business, really, that's just your business. That's not a workcation. That's just you're traveling and you happen to be in a business that you travel in. In my case, my business has nothing to do with travel whatsoever, but I wanted to merge the two. A few years ago, I started packing up my laptop, which I've never really worked from. I'm not a big fan of laptops. I like my desktop with my dual screens. Got a great setup at the house. But I started training myself to be able to work off a laptop, and then I got a secondary screen that allows me to work a little bit better. And that way, whenever I go places, my whole office fits in my backpack. Now, I gotta say, I don't work as efficiently as home because I don't have my printer. I don't have my large desk where I can move things around and have actually a few things printed out, paper files. I have to do everything paperless. So that did take a little bit of training. But I've now gotten to the point where I travel several times throughout the year on workcations, and during that time I will take off maybe one day of an actual vacation, because being a self-employed person, I don't have the ability to take off several days. I don't have a team or backup. Unfortunately, it's just me. It's one of the downsides of being self-employed in a very small little company where it's either you or a family setting, so that whenever you want to travel, there really isn't anybody else to pick up the slack while you're gone. So I have to work and travel in a way that doesn't harm my business. So I'll generally take off one day, sometimes even a half a day, whenever I'm gone over a workcation. So I'm actually in Playa del Carmen right now, and this has been fabulous. I'm actually here for 2 weeks. It's the first time I've ever traveled anywhere for this length of time, and it really gave me a sense of knowing that I really can enjoy being gone for this length of time and get everything done that I need to get done. But I am ready to get home, I gotta tell you. But during this time, it has been fabulous. We have worked, we have walked around, we have went down to the main plaza, the downtown area. We've been active. We're actually in a little community here. It's a gated community called Playa Car. It's about a 4-mile walk all the way around Playa Car with these beautiful houses and foliage and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful in the morning whenever there's very few people out. It's beautiful in the afternoon whenever the sun's out and there's just a bustling activity of both tourists and expats and locals just moving all around. It's just wonderful. But at night, that's probably my favorite. So at night, there's less people out, but it's well lit. You feel completely safe walking around Playa Car and even Playa del Carmen, but you got to be probably a little bit more on guard in Playa del Carmen rather than in Playa Car, just because there is a slight difference in the safety feeling that you get. And of course, to get into Playa Car, because it is a gated community, you do have to have a reason to be here. You either have to be a resident or a guest of a resident. So it does give you a little bit more of a sense of safety as you walk around. But we leave out of the house and we just walk around and it is beautiful. But like I said, at night is probably my favorite. And the beach is walking distance. We can actually get to the beach walking out of Playa Car into downtown area of Playa del Carmen and walk down to the beach. And we can also get to the beach walking straight through Playa Car without actually having to exit the community. So this has just been a great experience. And this is my my seventh workcation this year. I've now been down here twice this year. Came down earlier in the year, and then we came down this time. I've been on 4 cruises, and I have worked from every one of my cruise ships. In fact, I plan on doing some videos specifically about working while I'm on the cruise ships, along with all the other workcations that I plan to do in the upcoming next couple of years. I have 8 cruises booked between now and 2025. The next one will just be next month. It's another 5-day cruise, and I will be working on that as well. In addition to coming to Mexico twice this year and doing 5 cruises by the end of the year, I've also been to Colorado to see some dear friends of mine. They've been trying to get me up there for a while, so I finally packed up my office and went to Colorado. I did do a video on Colorado in the little town that I stayed at in Salida. It was just gorgeous, and so I had a fabulous time working with them at their house, and both of them work from home at their house as well. So we were all doing our regular work thing, and then in the afternoon we went hiking or we went down and did yoga. And it was great. And then the last workcation I've done this year was I took a week and went up to New Jersey to see my lovely nephew, who I love dearly, and his wife. And they're just gorgeous little baby, Logan, who just recently turned a year. And I was there just before he turned a year old. And it was just so fabulous. So I said all this to say, there are ways for you to live your life differently. You just have to find what works for you. And for me, while I still need to work and I'm not in a place where I can retire, workcations are the best. So I plan on putting out more videos on these to show people different places that I go, and maybe I can help you wrap your mind around going on workcations. Maybe you can travel more, and maybe you can do it in a way that you will see that it's not something that you have to always save up or wait for to travel. Even traveling locally, if you're able to work remotely and you can take your office with you, just getting in the car and go see some family you haven't seen in a while. Speaking of family, there's my guy, so I guess I need to wrap up this video. So thank you so much if you made it to the end, and I'll post another one soon. Bye. Hey, I'm just recording.